Hey guys, I'm back. And let me start by saying I apologize that I've not made any content for you guys to, you know, watch, waste your time on, whatever you want to call it. Um, but let me explain what's been going on because it's a little bit of a long story. And these model kits you have in the background here, I've got a little story for you on this as well. But let me first tell you, I was having issues with some technical problems with YouTube, with my channel, and at the same time, having issues with my phone. It was wearing out. This is the actually first video I've made, or I'll be making, or I am making. Yeah, I guess I'm making it right now. So, anyways, since I've got my new phone, so I'm not even sure how this is going to show up. I hope it's as well, not that the previous videos were ever great, but I hope it's a good video. And, you know, like I said, it's a new phone. I think I've got all the issues straightened out with my YouTube channel. And yeah, plus, uh, haven't really been building any model kits lately. As a matter of fact, I'm still, still not even touched the El Camino that I showed last. But I have been working on the Mercury. Reupholstered the front bucket seats, and if any of you guys would like to see that, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll make you a little short video of the 51 Mercury, how the seats turned out, and give you a little insight on those. But let's focus on the models in the background. My wife, thank you, honey, purchased this for me for Christmas. It was a gift for me. Uh, and I've seen several guys on YouTube, as well as some of the Facebook sites that like that, have built this kit. But let me explain to you what that kit uh, means for me. Now, when I was a kid, when I say a kid, 3, 4 years old, and probably since I was born, for that matter, my dad, um, he had a Gulf service station, and he was always like me. He's always into old cars, restoring, making hot rods, customs, or not really customs, but street machines or muscle cars, however you want to call it. He was into a lot of that stuff. And like I said, he owned a Gulf service station, and he had one of these uh, Ford truck wreckers with a Holmes bed on the back. And anytime he came home driving that truck, he would leave his. He had a '65 Mustang that was hot rodded out, small block, 4 speed, that kind of thing, loud pipes, mag wheels, flat black. And this is in the early '70s. Like I said, I was 3, 4 years old that I remember. We'll just call it 4. But anytime my dad drove his service truck, the wrecker, home from Gulf, I knew we were going to go get an old car. Now, my dad, he used to pick up 56 Fords or Mustangs or 55 Chevys, and he would bring them home. And some of them that, even in that time, weren't to the quality to actually build and put back on the street. He would literally turn those cars into dirt track cars, because at the end of the street we lived on was a dirt track, and every weekend you could sit outside and watch cars being pulled in on trailers, dirt track cars and such like that. And my dad would build those cars, full roll cages, stuff like that, just gut them and build them as rollers. No engines, no trannies, just here it is, rolling chassis with a roll cage already installed. Drop a motor in it, throw a seatbelt and a helmet on, and go have fun. And a funny thing about that story is, like I said, I was little. I was 4 years old. And I know a lot of you guys will remember those steering wheels in those cars were huge, 17-inch steering wheels. While he was working on the car, uh, sometimes even when he was welding the roll cage, I would crawl up and sit in the steering wheel and rock back and forth, just holding the steering wheel, rock back and forth, and sitting in the steering wheel. Of course, my dad would go, take a break a second, let me do a little welding, then you can get right back in there. But that's some of my childhood memories for that. So what I want to do with this kit is I've been online looking for 1970, say 73, 74 pictures of the Gulf service station wrecker like that, because I wanted to get the right paint scheme. Now, what I remember, was the body and the bed were white. And of course, it had the Gulf logo on the door. And it seemed like it had a orange stripe that went down. But the inside of the bed and the boom in the back was all blue. Now, that's what I remember as a 4-year-old. Not really sure if I'm correct or not on that, but it seemed like the whole truck was white, Gulf service logo, and seemed like I said it had an orange stripe down the side. Not a real wide stripe, not like a racing stripe, but just bigger than a pinstripe that went either down the side where the chrome trim's at, but I can't remember. And I'm trying to locate that. So if any of you guys remember a Gulf service station back in the 70s, like I said, 70, 73, 74, somewhere in that area, and can remember well, please let me know in the comments below what you remember about the paint on these particular trucks, because I want to build my dad's service truck out of this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to building that this year. So keep your eyes open for that, of course. And let's move to the GTX. So this particular car, when I was in junior high, 7th grade, during the summer of transitioning from 7th to 8th grade, there was a guy in our neighborhood, and he had an orange 69 Plymouth GTX, had a 440 with a 6-pack and a 4-speed. It was an orange car, black interior, and it seemed like it had these type of wheels on it, but maybe they were Kragers. It was skinnies, like 7s in the front, 8s or 10s in the back. I can't remember, but I think it was 8s in the back. But anyways, during that summer, the guy posted that car up for sale. At that time, you didn't really post anything up. You had Auto Trader, or you just put it in the yard with a for sale sign on it and hope that somebody in the traffic that was coming by your home would see that car and be interested in buying it. And that's exactly what happened with us. We were on our way home during the summer. I would work with my dad, and he worked for a different company at that time. What it was, they worked for new homes. New homes being built had to have a septic tank installed, and along with the field lines and such like that. Well, during summer break, I would go to work with them for my dad, and just make a little money, for whatever purposes. Well, my dad saw this car for sale, and it was during the weekend. He saw the car for sale. He comes home. He says, "Hey, get in the truck. I want to go show you something." So I hop in the truck with him. He had a matter of fact, he had a Ford truck, yellow, short wheelbase, not a Wrecker, but it was a Ford truck, yellow, short wheelbase with mags on it, loud exhaust, awesome little hot rod truck. So I hop in the truck with him, take off down the street. Now, keep in mind, I was just getting out of 7th grade, about to go into 8th grade middle school. So I was still into the bicycle scene, but I knew eventually I'd want a car, and I knew eventually I'd have to find something. Well, my dad takes me down the street to the guy's house, and there's this car, 69 Plymouth GTX, 4-speed, 440 with a 6-pack, and ready to go. I mean, awesome looking car. Beautiful. To me, it was a cool car. I thought my dad was going to buy this car, right? Well, the guy had it for sale, and my dad had already spoken to the man. Now, here was the deal. My dad takes me down there, shows me the car. Regardless, if I wanted it or not, my dad was going to buy this car. But my dad was the kind of person that didn't buy you anything. You worked for it. You earned it. You bought your own car, so you'd have respect for it. You'd appreciate what you've done. So he takes me down there, like I said, and I get out. I'm looking at the car because, like I said, my dad, he'd come home in the truck, whether it be that when I was little or whatever, and go, get in the truck. We're going to go look at a car. So my dad talks to the fella that owns the car. They knew each other pretty well. And at the time, my dad had a Dixie service station, but he also worked for a different company doing, like I said, the septic tank work, which is basically grading and installing septic tanks and field lines. Back to the story. I know. Get to the story, Tommy. Let's hear what you're talking about. So the guy and my dad had this deal. The guy wanted X amount of dollars for the car. My dad said, right here, right now, I can buy this car, pay you cash for it. Now, this is my dad talking to the guy that owns the car. And he said, but here's what I'm asking. He said, I will give you half the money right now for the car, and it can sit here. But what I'm trying to do is get my son to earn the other half of the money to purchase this car. Well, the guy, being a friend of my dad, said, that's not a problem, Roy. The car's here. You want it for your son. No worries. He said, you know what? Don't even worry about leaving any money. It's here. Let him work for it. Come back and get it. I'll take the for sale sign off. And the guy did just that. As soon as, he wouldn't take any money from my dad, which here in a moment, I wish he had. So I worked the whole summer, saved every little dime I could get. I was into bicycles. Like I said, I sold bicycle parts to friends around the neighborhood that wanted something. I'd sell them something. More money in the jar, to get me closer to having this car. Now, at the time, I didn't even have a learner's license. So there was no way I was going to get to drive this car anytime soon. But yeah, I had something to work for that summer, and I was just excited as I could be. So finally, on the paycheck, I had the complete amount. We are on our way home. I'm excited. My dad's excited. I could see it in his face. He was so excited that this was going to be my first car. And I'd worked for it. I did exactly my deal. The deal was, son, if you'll come up with half the money, I'll pay the other half. So yeah, what a deal. So, like I said, I worked for it, earned the money. The day of coming home with cash in hand, I had all my money, every bit of it, in my pockets all day, burning a hole. As we're coming down the street, we see the car on a trailer behind a truck going the opposite direction. Now, my dad, he was an awesome guy. He didn't use a lot of bad language. Never raised his voice. Never got too excited, to be honest with you, as far as getting riled up and want to fight anybody. He wasn't that kind of guy. He could take care of his own, but that wasn't his nature. It wasn't the way he was. We pull in to this man's yard, and as soon as the guy sees my dad, he drops his head. I look at my dad and I go, what's going on? My dad said, son, sit in the truck. My dad gets out, goes over, starts talking to the guy. And of course, excuse my language, all hell breaks loose. Now, this is a friend of my dad's buddy, and my dad trusted him. There was no reason not to. At this point, he took his word for it, just the same as my dad's word was, hey, we're coming back to get this car. Now, it didn't take me several months or years or nothing like that. This is the summer vacation between, one grade to the next for me. Summer vacation, couple of months, maybe. But my dad offered to pay the man for the car or leave half down to leave the car sitting there, just as long as I would work for it. And they agreed to it, shook hands on it. Back when you shake a hand, it meant something. Well, either way, the guy that had the car at the time, that was leaving with the car, saw the car, talked to the guy, offered him more money. Well, is the story I was told later. And even though he and my dad had made an agreement, he sold the car. Yeah, he sold it. And he sold it on the day I was coming to get it, or we were coming to get it. You know, my dad was so excited. I was so excited to get that car. And unfortunately, I never even got to sit in. I never got to sit in the seat. Never got to touch the steering wheel. And of course, the money I had in my pocket, you know, no longer meant anything. I didn't even want the money. I was so disappointed, that yeah, this is what you get when you put your time and effort into doing what you think is the right thing to do and what most people raise their children to believe. Most of us were raised that way. You work for it, you earn it, that's the reward. But unfortunately, the guy sold the car. I never got it. Few years later, to move it up, the guy that bought the car, his name was Chris. No, I won't say his last name. The man has passed away since then. But like I said, my dad had the service station, the Dixie service station, I was from junior high through high school. I mean, my dad, I worked for him after school and on weekends, and even after school, he still had that service station. It was a full service gas station, Dixie Motor Oil. Anyway, the guy that bought the car, Chris, he would bring that car into the service station to get gas. So I had to look at it every time. Later on, he had ended up blowing the engine up in that car, swapping it out to a 318. Car was never the same. He, one of those rough rousers, drinking, raising Cain in the car, few dents here and there, pieces missing, tires are mismatched. Just let the car go real bad. And then after that, like I said, he blew the first engine up, the 440. Then he ends up blowing up the 318, and it set right beside his house. And you could drive up. There's a street here, Buchanan Highway. You could drive up that street or up that road and see that car sitting beside his house every time. Weeds growing up around it, boxes of just whatever on top of it, lawnmowers shoved under it, and it just never sat right with me. From what I heard years later, a church, there was some sort of a church that had a garage or some sort. They would buy cars like that, fix them up, and sell them to help raise money for the church. I'm not sure how that goes, but that is the story. So I don't know where the car ended up from that point. I don't know. But what I plan on doing with this kit is building the one that got away. I want to build that car, this model kit, as what I remember. As bad as it is, that memory sucks. Truthfully, I have no idea what I did with the money after that. I don't remember buying any other car. I don't remember buying a new Mongoose bicycle or Hutch or anything. I don't really remember what even happened to the money. I just remember it was a black cloud from that point on, not just for me, but for my dad. He was so disappointed, and I thought he was going to kill that guy. I mean, my dad, like I said, he was a great man. Never seen him in a argument that he couldn't, just calm it down. He was that kind of person. He could calm an argument down between two other people with no problem. But that day, I thought my dad was going to come unglued and just, he's going to jail, is what I'm thinking. But of course, he just said what he had to say, spoke his piece, got in the truck, and squalled the tires all the way down the street. I mean, in that yellow Ford truck, he was bent out of shape. But anyways, I'm trying to get these two kits built and show you guys something from my childhood, something from my teenage years, I guess. And I hope you guys will stick around long enough to see that. And I do apologize again that it's taken this long for me to get back and make a new video for you guys to check out. And I'm aware that it's not Friday, but like I said, I've been trying to get all this straightened out with YouTube. And finally today, everything got straightened out. And I said, okay, now I can go back to making content. And the reason I wasn't making content is because, well, what I was trying to get straightened out was back in December, they were supposed to send money because I'm being paid like most people with the YouTube account. I finally started, making a little money here or there. And I couldn't receive anything. They would not send it. There was issues with it. And I thought, before I make another video, I may have to delete everything I've got on my account and start the whole process all over again. And there's, I don't know, 200 plus videos, I think. And then I've got you guys that are subscribers. That's almost 2,000 subscribers. And I thought, this is not how I want to do this. These guys are awesome. They've been here almost from the beginning. A lot of you guys have been with me from the beginning. I mean, you just come back. I don't know. You come back and you watch me build stuff that, worse off, you don't even watch me build it. You see, here's what I'm going to build, and bam, 3 days later, here it is. It's built. So you don't even get the opportunity to watch me build, which I'd like to change that eventually too. Show you some techniques, let you see what I'm doing, so that way you go, well, that's a lot easier to do it this way, or nah, I like my style, and then that's fine too. But anyway, I'm going to try to wrap this long video up. And the reason this is a long video is because I want to tell you those stories, and I wanted you guys to see that I'm trying to get back here to do what you guys agreed to watch, my content. Like I said, I've been working on the Mercury. So if you're interested in seeing those seats, like I said, leave me a comment and down below and say, hey, yeah, I'd love to see what you've done with the Mercury. And this is my real Mercury, of course, my 51. And I don't know, let me know what you think. Do you like the story? These are real stories. These are true stories from my life. And, I just wanted to share those with you. And this is one of the videos I wanted to make earlier, but unfortunately started having some technical issues, and my phone was just on its last leg. It was doing everything it could just to answer the phone, So anyways, guys, thank you for coming back. Thank you for staying with me. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and look forward to the next one, I hope. And you guys be safe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.